Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Stalker Team. You're welcome to Stalker Team, the investors channel. Today we are having the result of GTCO, GTCO Guaranteed Trust Holding Company. So GTCO is one of the stocks that we've actually picked on this channel. One of the global stocks that we picked, quoted on the Nigerian exchange NGX. About 2 months ago, we actually mentioned two picks from the NGX, and GTCO actually is one of those picks. GT delivered the results yesterday, one of the best results, if not the best ever, to be delivered by any bank on the NGX, and the best result ever in the history of GT Bank. Before we go ahead, let me just make a quick disclaimer. Every information shared on this channel is for information and education purpose only. So do your due diligence or consult your financial advisor before making any decision. And on that note, thank you so much for being part of this channel. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe, put on the notification bell, and also please give this video a like, because once you do that, more and more people will be able to see this video to add value to them. Also, we have access and we have presence on Instagram at Stalker Team Live. We are also on TikTok now at Stalker Team, and on X, as usual, we are at Stalker Team Live. So please join us across those communities, as you can see on the screen. So the aim of this episode is not just to talk about the results that was very fantastic for GTCO. It is also to break it down so that we can actually understand why this bank has been delivering and why it has actually delivered in a better way, in one of the most historic results ever to be delivered by a Nigerian bank quoted on the NGX. So we'll jump right into the summary of what happened, the context, and what you should actually expect. And if you are also contemplating to buy GT stock, what perhaps you should be doing and how you can get into this stock if you wish to actually do so. So join me. So just like I said, the first part of these results that actually came out very, very bold is this bank, GTCO, delivered a record profit. The profit, pre-tax profit, which is profit before tax, was about 1.266 trillion naira. We are, analyzing this in naira. So if you have the conversion, you can actually do that. So about 1.266 trillion naira was the profit before tax. This more than actually doubled what the bank did in 2023, when the bank reported about 609 billion naira in 2023. And profit after tax, which is very, very, very important for you to actually see why this bank has actually honed that record to be the most profitable bank ever in the history of the Nigerian banking sector. The profit after tax actually rose by about 88.4% to 1.017 trillion naira. So GT Bank now has delivered that kind of profit, 1 trillion naira, over 1 trillion naira in profit, net profit, which is marking the highest profit in the history of the bank. No bank has delivered this. And, when we called this talk a few months ago, about 2 months ago, we said this is the most profitable bank in Nigeria in the history of even banking, almost in the whole of Africa. And that was why we actually said this bank is a bank that we are picking. Also, the revenue part, the revenue also surged, which is also showing the efficiency of the bank, how they deploy capital, how they manage the resources of the bank, how they also see how they can, use technology to, manage cost and drive efficiency. So gross earnings rose about 81.07% year on year to about 2.148 trillion naira. This was driven by interest income. So the interest rate in Nigeria is quite high, and as a result of that, banks like GT are actually doing very well. The interest income rose about 143% year on year to about 1.3 trillion naira. It's a huge increase because the interest rate regime in Nigeria, yes, it might be on the downward trend in the nearest couple of months, but a run up to the whole part of last year, banks actually made huge money lending money to different sectors of the economy, and GT is one of the major drivers of the Nigerian, if not the West African economy. The dividend, which is now very important to you as an investor, as a shareholder. I bought this stock for the first time about 2 months ago, and that was when I did a whole lot of due diligence, and I felt this is the stock, this is the bank I should be having more shares in. So perhaps you might be wondering, why am I even talking about this if I actually have exposure to this bank, and I'm very happy. They are paying this dividend. They declared a final dividend of about 7.03 naira per share, which will now bring the total dividend for 2024 to 8 naira per share. So for the final part of last year, investors and shareholders in GTCO will be earning about 7 naira per share, 7 naira, point 3 per share. This is a huge increase. They've actually took it a whole lot of notch up. The dividend is now has risen by about 151%. So, and I'm very happy for this. The bank is also doing very well in terms of capital appreciation. So, the dividend now coming at a record of 151%, 151%. That is a very good one. Also, to also show that the bank is still very solid, they are not necessarily giving out all this money and the bank is struggling. No, because you also have to be careful when you see companies that pay good dividends but the books are not looking very well. But in the case of GT, their books are actually looking very good. The asset for the bank actually rose. The total asset rose to about 52.67% year on year, and the record asset now, the asset on record is about 14.796 trillion naira. Customer deposit also within that period, GT also took in so much more deposit, rose by about 44.78% to about 10 trillion, 10.013 trillion. GT now has a huge deposit that the bank can actually leverage to make more interest income, and that's why this bank actually has what it takes to continue to retain that position as the most profitable bank on the NGX. Also, if you look at all other financial metrics, it actually shows that this business is still making much more money from other sources. Net fees, commission, income, all of those metrics actually increased, by about 73%, to about $189 billion. They made a whole lot of money from FX, from the e-business, account maintenance charges, and that's why the banking sector in Nigeria, on the NGX, is the best, if not the best, sector to invest in on the NGX. I have exposure to about 6 stocks on the NGX. All of them are banks, tier 1 and tier 2 banks. I don't have any exposure to any other sector. Maybe when Dangote Refinery finally list, or the NNPC, I might give it a consideration. But the Nigerian banks actually make so much money from different sources, from interest income to fees to FX to all of these, business aspects that they do. Now, before we actually look at going forward, what is the performance of this stock. So are they just paying dividend and the stock has been struggling? Because you also have to be careful, like I said, as an investor. If a company pays dividend, pays good dividends, and the stock struggles, your capital actually depreciates, you should also be very worried that the company is not growing, but they are paying out money. So are they investing in business, or they are just, window dressing the business? But in the case of GT, looking forward or even looking downward into what's going on, is the opposite is the case. GT is actually doing very, very well across all board, and we are going to look into that now. So on a year-to-date basis, as you can see on the screen, GTCO, GT has now done about 20.70%, over 20%. The bank has done, the stock has done over 20%. In the last 1 year, over 32%. In the last 5 years, did very exceptionally well. The stock, rose. Just as the naira depreciated, devalued, you can actually see that even if your initial investment that you did actually devalued when the naira was devalued, a year and a couple of months ago, the stock also, rose following that move. So in the last 5 years, over 281%. Because this bank has now declared this record profit, a whole lot of investors who want to become shareholders in this bank in the medium to long term. So you are likely to see a run up to a whole lot of people buying the stock. So in the last 5 days, this stock has done well over 10%, almost 11%. I actually bought this stock. Let me just trace back when the stock was around 60 naira per share. I bought it around that figure, and within that period now, this stock has done well over 15%. Just less than 2 months or thereabouts. So the dividend that will be paid is going to be paid later. It might be after April, or towards the end of April. So you actually want to see this stock moving very, very fast, because a whole lot of non-shareholders want to buy the stock to actually benefit from the dividend that is going to be paid, because there's a cut-off date for the dividend. So if you want to buy this stock, I wouldn't actually recommend that you run after the stock. I wouldn't actually recommend, because after the dividend is paid, some people or shareholders might actually even want to take profit as well, because the stock is running up, and people are also getting dividends. So there might be a lot of profit taking towards the early part of the second quarter, or towards the end of the second quarter. There might be a lot of profit taking. So just for you to be aware. So if you are buying the stock, you need to actually not necessarily time it, invest over time if you want to actually invest. So as for me, I look to buy more when the profit taking period is over. There will be surely a whole lot of investors who might actually want to shave part of their holdings. So that might be the best time. But like I said, if a bank or a company is doing good dividends, declaring good dividends for investors, for shareholders, and the books is not too good, you should be worried. But in the case of GT, it seems everything has been aligning for them. They know how to make money from banking, even better than banks that are bigger than them in terms of total assets. So the likes of Access, the likes of Zenith have larger asset base. But if you look at the profit that GT makes with what they have in terms of assets, GT actually outperforms them, and that's why it's the number one pick for the NGS stock. So that is the episode for on GT's result. Looking forward, I see this stock, ending this year, price target wise now. So just a bonus for if you have watched this far. Price target wise, maybe around 75 naira per share to $80, 80 naira per share on the upper range of the target. So about $80 finishing the year, and that will make this bank to be much more capitalized. At the moment, GT is valued at about 2.3 trillion naira. So, towards that 80 naira mark, this bank will actually near about 3 trillion. But if you look at the profit that this bank is delivering vis-a-vis the market cap, you can actually see that the Nigerian banks are the most profitable bank in the world, anywhere in the world. Even the likes of JP Morgan, the like of Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, they don't even do up to maybe half of 1/3 of even their capitalization in terms of net profit. But here we go. The Nigerian banks actually make so much money, and that's why someone like me will actually want to invest in banks in Nigeria rather than even technology, as I usually do on Wall Street. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our channel, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any update. So we want to actually invite everyone. Please follow us, subscribe to our channel on Instagram. You can follow us at Stocker Team Live, on TikTok at Stocker Team, on X at Stocker Team Live. Thank you so much. Till another episode. Keep investing and keep growing. Take care and bye bye.